You've been stuck inside for 3 days because of rain. You have a roof, you have heating, you have a fridge full of food, and a phone full of distractions. And you're miserable. Now, take all of that away. No roof, no walls, no stored food, no dry clothes, no waterproof jacket, no hot drink waiting for you. Put yourself in a forest somewhere in prehistoric Europe, 60,000 years ago, during a rainy season that doesn't end for weeks. The temperature is hovering just above the point that could kill you, and everything you need to survive, fire, food, warmth, gets exponentially harder to find the wetter it gets. How do you survive that? Not as a thought experiment, as a daily reality, as the baseline condition of being human for most of human history. Nobody asks this question about ancient humans, because we're too busy asking about the dramatic stuff, the predators, the migrations, the wars. But rain is unglamorous. It's relentless. And it was arguably more dangerous to early humans than almost anything with teeth. It killed fires. It caused hypothermia. It rotted food. It flooded shelters. And it lasted for months at a time. And somehow, ancient humans didn't just survive it. They thrived in some of the wettest, most brutal climates on the planet. They crossed rainforests. They lived through Ice Age winters with rainfall that would shut down a modern city. And they figured out how to do it without a single textbook. Let's find out how. The real killer isn't the water. Start with the most immediate danger rain creates for a human with no shelter. It's not drowning, that's a different problem entirely. The real killer is heat loss. Water pulls heat away from your body roughly 25 times faster than air does. That's not a small difference. That's the difference between sitting in a cold room feeling chilly and sitting in a cold lake, dying. When you're wet, your body loses heat faster than your metabolism can replace it, especially with even a light wind and a low ambient temperature. Here's the part that should terrify you. You don't need freezing conditions for this to kill you. You need wet clothes, a mild breeze, and a temperature around 10 degrees Celsius. That's a British summer. That's a spring night in Central Europe. That's an ordinary Tuesday in dozens of environments where early humans lived and died. They didn't learn this from a textbook on thermodynamics. They learned it from watching each other die. And that lesson shaped almost everything about how they survived. Fire wasn't something you made. It was something you kept alive. Fire is the obvious answer to cold and wet, and also the most complicated one, because fire and rain are enemies. Wet wood won't ignite. Wet tinder won't catch. And a fire that gets rained on dies. In a hypothermic situation, a dead fire isn't an inconvenience. It's a death sentence. So how did ancient humans keep fire alive through weeks of rain? They stopped thinking of fire as something you make when you need it, and started treating it the way we treat electricity as infrastructure. Starting a fire from nothing in wet conditions, with bare hands and no modern tools, is one of the hardest physical tasks a human being can attempt. So they simply never let it go out. Across nearly every ancient culture we've studied, carrying fire was a practiced, essential skill. Embers were wrapped in slow-burning organic material, damp moss, fungus, specific types of bark, and kept smoldering for hours while a group traveled. The Inuit carried embers in enclosed containers. Indigenous Australians used particular slow-burning woods to move live coals across enormous distances. Archaeological sites across Europe show hearths that burned continuously for years, not relit again and again, but maintained, fed, and protected like a living thing. This mattered so much that groups assigned someone to do nothing but tend it, not hunt, not forage, just sit with the fire and keep it alive. This is one of the earliest divisions of labor we can trace in the archaeological record. Before there were specialists in tools, or hunting, or medicine, there was a specialist in fire. They weren't cave people, they were builders. Fire needs shelter to survive heavy rain, which brings us to the second strategy. And here's where the popular image of the caveman completely falls apart. The idea that ancient humans mostly lived in caves is partly just a bias in what survives. Caves preserve evidence well, so that's where archaeologists look. And that's where we find things which makes it seem like caves were the main dwelling.